You say? Talking to me? Huh? Carlo?
What?
Talking to me?
No. Fucking this guy. He's just not listening.
I wonder why. I wonder why. What's it go to my Discord? Never. Never. Yo. I don't join Discords. I don't join Discords. No, I don't join Discords.
This is your champion.
It's a rule I just created.
You'll find me there.
I'm coming. I see your invite. Sephira.
I guess I gotta go join someone's Discord.
You can stay here. He's greedy, so I can't. I don't care. I'm just ready to wreck. I gotta get warmed up. Oh wait. I was gonna say I can mute myself. You're good. Yeah, there we go. I'm good. Whoa! Did you make me the jump master? What? No, dude, you're joking. You're joking. Alright, you're joking, dude. You played me. Alright, good. Because I'm a cable guy. Woo! Yeah, I'm ready too, dude. Ooh, that boy got a purple. He really does, too. He's all joking. He's got a purple shield. I'm gonna land on him. Where are they? Oh, he's right here. Oh, it won't even shoot that far. Damn, I just realized. There he goes. Is that you, Pathfindering? Yeah. Alright, alright. He's right here. He's cracked. 40. White on white. Here, I'm going across. Oh no! Almost jumped off. You have it. Boy. You're that powerful. Dude, it did that for me. Don't feel bad. I jumped up at it and it didn't activate, but I just landed on barely on the edge. It did that to me. You did it like right over here, right? Was it right here?
Go here now.
Yeah, that's where I did it. Exactly, that's where I just did it, and I almost fell off the map. You can't do it from right there. Well, that's what happened. Yeah, that was the only time it ever happened to me either. But I pulled right back. It's crushed, crushed. They're both crushed. I need you. No! They're low! Dude, the Mirage, first guy you shot at. He's one shot. Nice. Other two are not low. The Bangalore is not. You're dead. I choked. I should have dropped the Mirage right away. Man, dude, I can't believe this. Dude, don't feel bad. I literally almost did the exact same thing. I think there's a glitch in that spot. I think there's a glitch in that jump line, that zip line spot. That's all I can determine. So do y'all have any of the heirlooms? I don't get it, dude. I just don't get it. I don't have any of them. I should have it, dude. I've got to be over like 1 million. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I saw that person at Heirloom Shards in the Discord, so I was just wondering. Revenant's actually really good now. Yeah, he has 2 of his specials now, so I can shoot 2 of those things. Yep. Yeah. I'm going right here. Because there's definitely going to be people here. No doubt. Oh, perfect. My door? Charging. Where is he? He's almost dead. Oh my gosh. I'm getting hit with a scout. Yeah, I'm one bullet away from life. I'm gonna just go for it. We're gonna die, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a pub match. I'm not gonna try to like play it all secret. Okay, I'll res you. Let me go right over here real quick. Yeah, it's not worth all that. What's the difference in this trios? I don't like the dark Kings Canyon. It kind of hurts my eyes, actually. What happened? Oh, no, man. Everything's good. Watson.
This is your champion.
Wow, they chose me. The odds are full of all kinds.
I'm Jumpmaster. Follow me or stay out of my way.
Right.
Stay out of
Let's land here. I can't believe I'm landing here. You don't get the. I haven't landed here in forever because this is the portal on the non-night one. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good loot here. Pretty big. So. Yeah, it was me. We're over here.
Mozambique here. P2020 here. Round 1. Beginning ring count.
Tintinny. Yeah, lifeline. She gets the special. Yeah, it's a special delivery.
Attention.
There's tamales and guacamole.
First blood on the enemy.
Alright. Oh, you did. Catch, catch. Does this hurt you?
Barrel stabilizer here. Level 2.
Shut it.
No, that, my shot. I was just wondering, okay. Does that, what, silent? Oh, no. No. Oh, you're talking about the name of the move. No, you can't do that. Alright, so yeah, definitely find somebody. It's the goal. Get this little bot right here. Come here. One. I'm gonna wait till he flies close. Should be right out here. Right now. Is that falling right on top? Yeah. Ooh, perfect. Eee, purple armor too. You can have the blue.
They must not be very good.
Nice. Yeah, you can have the R301 if you want. Okay. I'm gonna take.
Found a body shield here. Level 2.
Placing a portal. Portal's ready. Portal here. New kill leader appointed.
Watch out for the new kill leader, friend.
Warning. Ring closing.
Already in the ring. This is gonna be fun.
Grappling.
It's a long way here.
Package being delivered.
Care package out there.
Yes, sir. Thanks. I'm good. Okay. Where is everybody, dude? This is crazy. Never seen nobody.
Might be something good this way.
I'm just pushing. I'm not looting anymore. There they are. Way over here.
Spotted a victim over there.
Are you gonna get like interrupted by a team? Oh, that zip line's not visible. Sticks out. Crazy. Ooh, I need this ammo. Please. I think that's where they just went up too. Probably gonna get lasered. Try it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Be careful. Threw me all the way over. I'm party. Yep, yep. He's popped right here. Knocked. You're down? From where? Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm looking, they're not coming down. Well, this guy already knocked one. I'm trying to finish him. I knocked two. Knocked two. I got one. Down.
Recharging shields.
They're staying back up there. Whoa. Oh, that's you. I gotta recharge real quick. I say we go up and hit the zip line, dude. Let's get above them. Let's get above them right here. Yeah, you gotta like... Oh, he's right here. Dude. What is up with this? I've never had such trouble. Ripped. Here, just stay right there. I got you.
Better off dead, but I could use the cover.
Right down here. They ran. I hit them all with my special.
Shields are low. Recharging.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Just set the zip. It's right here. They're engaging. Yeah, they're engaging. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like setting up. He's popped.
Recharging shields.
I gotta recharge. I gotta get heals. 1 second. Wait, there's more than one team down there. So be careful. Yeah. I gotta get some heals. I don't have anything. So here, let's go back. Let's go back. Here, I'm gonna set this. Here, I set my special right there. Where is he? Where is he? I don't see him. I'm right here. Right here, right here. He went through the portal. He went through the portal. Oh. I'm fighting somebody. I'm coming. I'm coming. He got her. He got her. He got her.
Kill you myself.
Thank you.
Killed an enemy.
I do too.
Repairing my damages.
It's a bad spot, dude. Right here. I'm almost dead. No. It's just one guy. They're rushing now. You got your portal? Can you portal us out? Or give me a portal? Like down there? I don't think you can move. Just go this somewhere else. Go around. Yeah, they're that way anyways, so.
Need to recharge my shields.
You res me.
Hold on.
Well, on the hill right in front of us, there's heals. I gotta heal. Just keep him back. Keep him back. I gotta heal.
Coming to us. Get up before I kill you myself.
There's stuff on the hill right here. Here. Come here. Come here.
Recharge.
Stuff right here.
Shields are low. Recharging.
Just healing. It's dead. Okay.
I'm taking shots. Patching myself up.
Yeah, he's right here. 60, 60, 60. He's running. He's up here. He's a Pathfinder. Going around. Okay. Here, come here, come here. Here's 120 heavy. Both of those. We need to go this way. There's boxes. We can loot these boxes.
Another squad's attacking. Focus.
We need to get back up top here.
Hostile spotted.
He's up here. The Pathfinder.
There's another squad.
Here, let's get together. Yeah, let's get together. Nice. Yes. Oh. The box I needed. Right here, 3 syringes. Here, take this.
Recharging my shields.
Giving my shields a recharge.
Here. There's bats. Here's some cells.
Shield cell here.
There's at least 3. I'm gonna go back up there. Where I think he was. Y'all ready? Alright. I didn't hit him! How did I not hit him? And it was right on his head. How did I not hit him though? It was right on his head. My special. Get all that?
Great. Already inside the ring.
Here.
Care package. I love loot.
Here's 60.
Watch out for the new kill leader, friend.
Yeah, he should have some. Over here. He's up here. More than one. Right here. I hit him. Right here.
Taking contact with enemy.
Where? Oh, right here. She's almost dead, dude. Yep. Nice.
I killed an enemy.
Don't be afraid to use that thing either. This right here, my special. It's actually really good. Yeah, it's actually really good now.
Target spotted.
spotted.
Okay. Coming. Try to Peyton Manning him. Yeah. I'm going right to him. What? How did that? He's right here. She's cracked. So is this guy. He's cracked right here. He's right here. Yeah, he's coming around outside over here. We're on top of him. Let's just stay here. 30 seconds. He's got to come up to us. He's right here. No, don't. Just stay up here. He's got to come up to us. The ring's about to close. 23 seconds. Yeah, we got the advantage. Because if he zip lines, we'll instantly pop him. So let him push at us. Yeah, he swapped it. I think he swapped it.
Enemy spotted.
Well, he's got to come this way, so. Oh, they got to come, so let's just wait on him.
Good. We're inside.
Yep, here he is right here. Does he have cold blood? I can't see him.
Opening fire on the enemy.
Right here. He's zipping at them now. Oh, I popped him. 90. Nice. I hear him. They didn't make it all the way. Where is he?
Need to recharge my shields.
Finish him. Alright, sorry, R99. I gotta switch you out because I don't have anything for you. There's 120.
Rings pretty close.
I am repairing myself.
Let's go this way. 45 seconds. Rings close.
Just wait. It's only. I think this.
Contact with hostile.
He's in there?
Contact with hostile.
I hit her. Oh, I hit her again. Burning bad. I hit her again. Nice. I'm using a Phoenix. Give me 8 seconds. Outside or where? Over here.
Here. Level 3.
I'm using this. Sure. I don't care. I think he's on the other side of this hill. It's a solo. I heard him fighting. I don't know. I heard him fighting. I know that for sure. Yeah, it does. You good?
You are the Apex champions.
Yes, sir. There you go. Alright. This is my favorite playlist now. Love duos. Alright, if you... Yeah, I don't know if they do SVMM. They probably do somewhat, but not as heavily as the regular playlist. Yeah, Revenant's really good now. Like, if a team really played around him, you could use Crypto to strip the drone, or to strip all the shields. You could use Revenant to freeze them, and then, like, if you had, like, a Caustic, or Wraith to move them around, or Caustic to lock them down, depending on how you wanted to play, it'd be really good. Because once he hits you with that thing, which he has 2 of them, so he can hit 2 of the characters, they're dead. Or, I mean, you're stunned, and you can't do any of your abilities. So, like, Wraith and Pathfinder become useless.
This is your champion.
Yep. And his ability is so big now, and you have 50% health when you come back. It's gonna go here. Nobody's here. Just hit this, and then we can push to the cave. Under here. Alright. So let me know when you're ready. I'm just gonna loot this house back here first. Is there a Wraith? Dual R301. Alright, okay, right behind you.
Lucky us, we are already inside the ring.
Alright. Guess I never thought about that. Must be. I got a blue. A boo.
Level 3.
Alright. Definitely gonna be people here. I'll watch them drop. Well, R99. I'm not gonna. I haven't seen one. I think they've kind of took them out, so I am gonna pick one up. Armor? In the top? It's always been I don't look. I skip those. That's how it always works. They're gone. I'm gonna put up my zip line. Just gonna jump on the geyser. Oh, there they are. See them right there. They're flying. I don't know if he sees us. Maybe he does. I think he might be calling in his friend. I missed the jumps. He's right here though. Going down the hill. He's right here.
Let's go this way.
Oh, he's right here. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, he ripped me. Okay. I hit him. Yeah, he was head glitching me. Knocked. He's almost dead. He's one shot. Easy kill. Oh, I did a special. Oh. Nice. Ah. You're good. You're good. It doesn't matter. Coming. Ah,
1 second, we got this.
you're cool. Yeah, if he wouldn't have had his shield, he would have been dead instantly. That game was pretty good though with it. You could tell he used Gibraltar. Yeah, it was a TTV.
Incoming care package.
The other guy was, so. TTV master. Yeah. Alright. Need these shields. Okay. I usually main Pathfinders though. Since day one, I just switched to using Wraith. But I've been using Revenant now because he's so good. Like, he's so good for team. So good for team stuff. Yeah. Now he's even, I mean, he can climb high. He can walk really fast crouching. Oh, we're on the banner.
Let's explore this way.
Yeah, and he can walk really fast. No, I said we're on the banner. I will let you know if I see people. Aw, dude, took too long for the bullets to hit. Sorry if I get way ahead of you. It's my Pathfinder tendencies. Oh, okay. I never really played Titanfall. It looked pretty cool. You're cool. Go ahead. I know that this game is, many of the elements are taken from that game. It's like, where is everybody? It's crazy. You see? Let's go check. Ooh, a battery. It's far. Nice. I'm sure that's where we'll find people anyways. It's towards the city. Did you hear that? That is inside. It's in here. It's on the other side. Yeah, exactly. Knocked. Dead. Other one's left. Left. Yeah, that's... I'm running, dude. I'm almost dead. Like, literally one hit. Is he low?
Round 2. Beginning ring countdown.
I think there's more than just...
Already inside.
Yep. Yeah, they're fighting another team now. Not just another team, but there's like 4 teams here. Try to come down and get you. Yeah. Get around the corner if you can.
Contact with target.
Don't worry, I'm here.
Thanks for
Use what? Oh man, how hard would that be though? Can you imagine that? Like somebody rezzing has a knockdown shield over them. It would be kind of like that would be counteractive to Lifeline's ability. Oh. He's running. I'm gonna thirst his friend. I'm coming right behind you. Just keep pushing. You got him? Alright, I'm gonna break it. That's okay.
Reloading. That was the last one. Nice.
Good job. Yeah, dude, that first guy, he was looting, so I ripped him. He had the gold. So I knew, like, I cannot wait. Just gotta rip him right now. Then he's healed. The gold is just, if somebody has it, you have to instantly kill them. Especially if they're good. Oh! Oh, he went down. He's gold. Down in the bottom now. There's gold up here. Here, get up here quick. He ran. He ran. Yeah. Just be careful, though. He's actually down there somewhere. Oh! Jeez. He's just sitting down here. I don't know who this is. That's not the Pathfinder. I don't know who that is. So, you're ready. Pathfinder's probably gonna come at us somewhere. I don't even know if they're on the same team. The Pathfinder just came up here to loot all of our beautiful loot.
Patching myself up.
Oh, he's right here. Oh, he's ripped. Like more than ripped. Oh, ooh, I'm good though. I'm good. I'm pushing. Yep. He's ripped too. Both ripped. Bad. The other one's slow. That's not him. He's right here. 100 ripped. He'll recharge. I'm blocking him. He's going around. Yep. I'm blocking it. I'm blocking it. I'm going at him. I'm pushing him like Jerome Bettis. Probably gonna heal. Nice. That's it. Almost. We've been 4 squads left. So, and just methodically, one by one, every team that's been pushing us. Just gonna use my Phoenix.
Heads up. New kill leader.
I need, that's what I actually wanted, was a Peacekeeper.
Healing up. Eyes are open though.
Someone's aiming at you? That was false. False accusation. Wraith. Freaking me. I need light too, yeah. I just spent like 240 on every single character. 60 a person.
Light ammo here.
Nice. Hey, that could be 30, 50 damage. Hit it. Better than nothing. Here we go. I'm good. I think I got 200. Loving this R99 right now. It's beautiful.
Light ammo here.
Woo!
Shield battery here.
Woo!
30 seconds left.
2 teams. Yes, we go always full caliber. Yeah, dude, you're so cool. Okay. I feel like I've been in like 30 battles. I only have 4 kills. I guess because we fought every team.
Care package coming in.
Ooh, care package could be a Kraber. Be a Mastiff. You're totally right. Dude, this is like the most disgusting. That I like that Peacekeeper skin, the yellow one, but it's just so big. Like, I don't like skins that take too much of your peripheral. I like the new Peacekeeper skin, the color of the Sheriff one. Yep. I have all of them. Oh! Devotion, the best. Yeah, I got it. I got all of them, all the stars, the purple, the green, and that one. He's up here.
Target over there.
He's red. It's only one guy so far. That's all I see. Be careful because there's another team, so a push on him. Yeah, here he goes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's two of them. You're good. I'm throwing grenades. You pushing? I'm good, I'm good. Nice, nice. Yeah. He's gold too, so that's cool. Oh, someone's throwing their ultimate too. Right here. I'm charging. He's right here to the right. Other team's pushing. Getting up here. Yeah, there's two teams, so they come at this door. I'm gonna arc it. Got any throwables? Okay. Well, what they'll do? Will they come back here? Maybe. Here, I'll watch this door if you watch the other one. I'll let you know. Yeah, I only have big heals. I just want the big ones. Yeah, when I get the gold, I only grab big ones. It's so fast. Alright, so they could come in this door. Where's that guy? There's a Bangalore, though, on another team. This is Aus. Yeah. Going down here. You wanna come? I don't know if they... Nope. Here, get inside. You're good. I got you. They're ripped. I ripped them bad. You're good? Yeah, he's getting ripped. He's right here. They ran. They ran. They're only purple. They're only purple up there. Yep. This other team's gonna be in front of us, so. You want to port us just right there? Yeah, just I'll come right behind you. Keep them back. Nice. Yeah, just stay up top because the other team's on bottom. I don't know where they are. Oh, they're right there. Just come back. Or I popped him. I popped him. He's hiding. Everybody's focusing on us. We're good though. I mean, the ring's only right here, so we just have no cover. Yeah. Yep. Pushing. Nice. They're distracted over here. These guys. Oh, dude, he's literally 2 health. They're jumping down now. Let's get this team up here. Knocked. We're almost dead too. Be careful though, they're trying to probably bait us in. Okay, he's got a self-revive. I already killed his friend. He's got a self-revive.
That's the last of that squad. Looking up. Last squad.
They're down here. Here they come, right here.
Recharging shields. Fire, friends.
I got the advantage on her.
Giving my shields a recharge. Repairing. 30 seconds. Recharging.
Alright, I got him.
Recharging shield.
What? Oh, no. I knew when she got up there though. Dang it. Yeah, it was a 1-on-1.
Of our Apex champions.
Yeah, he was, we got him. Dang it. That was good though. So close. Yeah, it was a good game. I like that. I like a good game. I like a good game. You can be path. You don't have to be like general, what's his name? I'm trying to think of what's his real name. The character. You just Gibraltar. That skin. Skin's hilarious. No, I don't care. I don't care what we have. As long as the abilities of the character we have, we can use them. Wraith is the easiest character to use. And she's the... Yeah, and then her aim is just like perfect every single time because of her height. It's always at the chest or it's at the head, if it's Lifeline or somebody else. Yes, sir. You can take it though if he doesn't select his character. As long as you select your character, it will take it. If he doesn't select his. That's how it's supposed to work. He's got the Kabuto on. We're gonna go to bed soon. Supposed to get up early.
This is your champion.
Master, I can already smell the blood.
Jump, 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 jump. He's Bach. He's Bach, my mate. I'm gonna go around to the tree. To the tree. Yep.
Moving to that area. Let's go this way.
Okay.
Attention. First blood.
Eee.
First blood, and it's not us. Wonderful.
horrible weapons. Ah, vault key. What? Wait. It's running now. The L-Star doesn't kill him in one shot. Alright. Don't use the L-Star to shoot it down.
Body shield here. Level 2.
I want that. Give it to me.
I have grabbed the vault key. Better stabilizer here. Level 2.
Just going for the swing, man. There we go. Took all the ammo for it. Man.
Heavy ammo here.
Dibs.
Here I go.
Dang it. Sure. Yeah, we can just fly right there. Is this one open to the right?
Grapple.
Okay. Right, I guess just analogically speaking.
Shut up and die.
Boom. That would have cranked you, boy. Hit him directly at his head. I tried to time it though. I was like, let's see if I can do this. Go, 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 go. Why did you waste it like that?
Here I go. Zipline deployed.
Oh, perfect, dude. Make sure you get there first. It's okay. I got something for you when you open it. Still takes 4 seconds. By the time you open it, I'll already be walking in. Thanks, thanks. That doesn't matter.
Level 3.
That ring's closing in and we're not inside. Hey, if you want to die.
Backpack. Awesome. Well, I think we're pretty good. Gold perp perp. There's gotta be somebody here in the factory. Looted for so long, I did expect people to be there. I didn't expect to land on the leaf with nobody, but we did.
Package out there.
Everybody was water type this time. No leaf. Ooh, there it goes, there it goes. You got it? Nice. Don't try that with an L-Star. Forget, I can climb this whole wall. Perfect. My gold barrel. You didn't want that, did you? Okay. Just making sure. Didn't want to be like, yank. I have the best light weapon to get it, so. Yep. Yep. That's my favorite. That's my favorite weapon to put it on.
Eyes on the new kill.
I love the gold on the R45. I don't know what it is about that weapon. It shoots so fast. I think it's the recoil. But then it's horrible. That's what I'm saying, is like it just doesn't make sense. Like it's kind of like the Prowler. Like, right. It's like, It's like the Prowler though. Like the Prowler does more DPS than the R99, but it's just not as good. It is good. It is good. It's just not as good. I mean, there's gotta be a reason why every pro uses the 99 and nobody uses the Prowler. Who, me? I need the ammo, yeah. I need it, so I'm definitely gonna take it. Ooh. Can you wall jump? Bro. A person? I'm not even by you. What? Is he cheating? Cause you just got worked. How'd you get worked like that? I'm coming. I'm trying to get him. I'm pushing from behind. Pushing from behind. Right here. Yeah. This guy's almost dead. The Bloodhound. Yeah, there's. He's right here, coming up the ramp.
Recharging shields.
Here he comes. No, 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 no! Dang it! Dude, he got me through the hole. I didn't think he'd be able to shoot me through that hole. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think he'd be able to do that. Dang it. I had the Bloodhound all the way to 0 health, but he ran all the way around and healed by the time he got back up there. I didn't know you were down instantly. Literally. Alright, you're like 2 over here? I'm like, are they cheating? We were just down so quick. You tried it?
This is your champion. I'll take you down more than once.
Yeah, the graphics look horrible.
I'd say eat my dust, but you're already dead, amigo.
I know, that's...
My leg's getting tired. I made sure that would never happen again. Oh, that was crazy fun.
It's because it's like bridging the CSGO and Overwatch community together.
Drop there.
Yeah, which are the 2 biggest games.
A respiratory system.
I'm not down for the look of it. It literally looks like a 007. Alright.
Attention. First blood.
Who knows? Or they could just totally change the map again. I mean, what's happening with the what are they called? The group, the Hammond group. I'm trying to think where Forge was from. What's happening with them? Are they gonna finish their harvesting? Did y'all go? Right. Have y'all went up to the Bloodhound yet? It's pretty cool. Like an arena. When you get a when you get a kill in there, it like it's like good job, soldier. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah. It's like here's your reward. I do too. What's going on here? Where's everybody? We landed in the hot zone. Thought somebody would be there.
Got an extended sniper mag here. Yep, optics here. Close range.
Fragment? Fragment?
Need more kills. What's over here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Need more kills. What's over here?
Sniper stock here. Level 3.
They're down here fighting. Big battle. Right here. They're about to come up this, I think. I hit one of them. I hit him bad. Yep. Knocked. Other one's like back here. I'm not sure. Here. Use this. Where is he? Did you get him? Alright. That's awesome. I guess. Don't be too surprised though.
They're coming to us.
Optics here. Middle range. Extended sniper mag here. Level 2.
Repairing.
On meds? Sorry. I can't share my meds. I've only got like 7 med kits. Only have 7 med kits. Ooh, a purple. Yeah, there's tons of those right there if that's what you want. About to drop 4 syringes in there too. Alright, I'm good. I don't feel like it's 1 AM, but it is. Oh, right here, right here.
I see a target in the distance.
Here I go.
He's setting a portal. So, it was a Wraith. She had a blue stream portaling up there. So over here. Right here. Just dead. No, you're not. No, you're not. Wait. Just keep that shield up.
Gotta shut you off. You're better off dead, but I could use some cover.
I got you. He's right here. It's a path. Hurt bad. I gotta hurt. I gotta heal. I gotta heal. Just let's stay right here. Let them come to us. They're ripped. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice. Nice shot. Nice shot. Watch out. He'll probably come right up to us, Pretzel. Alright, I'm healing. I gotta heal. He's running. He's rezzing, rezzing. Nice. Nice. Whoa, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. I just need loot.
Recharging my shield.
What? Oh, I was instantly vaporized. Good thing. I don't know. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I killed an enemy. Repairing.
Oh, I'm stuck. I don't know. I'm looking. Is he Pathfinder? It could be. It is zipped away. I don't know where he is. Not even close to us. I'm healed. They're over here now. On the edge. Batteries? I don't either. Yeah, let's push that way. Where they are. Doing a Bangalore. Yeah, I do. I don't have one. Alright, let's push.
Who's ready to fly on a zip line? I am.
Right here. It's popped. Like almost dead. Bad. Nice. Pull back, pull back. He's almost dead. Oh, be careful. They're behind you. Popped on the hill. He's almost dead. I just got the other one shot. Push him, push him. It's okay. There's one. There's two more. It's all dead. It's far over here. Is he calling in? Yeah, let's just get back inside right here. We're good. Let's go in here. Till we figure out where these teams are gonna push from. guess. And you know, they're pushing in. They're pushing in. I think he's right here. He is. He's gold. 70. He's going in the house next to us. He's in here. Right here. I can climb all the way up here. So. Knocked him. I'm sick. He's still right there. What? He's cheating? No, literally, dude. His bullets were instantly like no movement. I'm trying. He's getting shot. He's getting shot. Just go ahead, do it, do it. That's a different team. I don't. Who has it? Him. Just use it. You're good. This guy's cheating. I'm gonna watch him. Yeah, he's not missing. This guy's cheating, I guarantee you. He's not the guy who killed me though, that's the problem. It's not him. I can't see this guy. It's the bank. It's the where is he? It's the bloodhound. Can't see him. It's a bloodhound. Dude, he vaporized me. There he is. There he is. Yeah, the Mirage. I'm gonna watch this guy. One sec. Awesome Soar. This is the guy that killed me, the Bloodhound. I raged him. I hit him for 100 plus, and then he turned, and just instantly, within 1 millisecond, his bullets were like turning. I'm serious, that's why I think. I just wanted 6 hostiles. Let's see what he does. Here he goes. Come on, come on. I was like, oh, I got this guy. Done. Yeah, I mean, the Devo can do that. It was just the way his bullets looked. It looks like they're turning. Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, you don't... I don't know. Now he's missing every shot. He has a Season 3 and a Season 4 banner with 0 wins on each. How does that even make sense? Yeah, how does that even make sense? How can you have a Season 3, Season 4 banner with 0 wins? That means this season he's never won 1 game. Exactly. That makes... But did you hear what I said? How can he have 0 wins on this season? Dude, even if you play for 1 day and you're level 1, you're gonna get 1 win. If you play for 1 week, maximum, you're gonna get 1 win. 1 win. He has 0 on Season 3. So, and Season 3, you're gonna play for 3 or a whole season and not get 1 win? Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. It is possible to vaporize somebody with a devotion like that. I've done it. I've seen people do it. It's a very powerful weapon. Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
If you have a respiratory system, let's explore this way.
Going to explore over there.
Okay. I guess I'll hit here. just meet. Yeah, everybody's dropping. Everybody's dropping really weird. There you go. Make sure you throw away that triple take. What? Sniper mag right there. You want it. It's over here on the wall.
Let's hunt over here.
Wow. Trash weapon. I go to bed soon.
Blood from me.
Boys say get up and sorry. I love you too. My favorite fight, so I'm already there. Nowhere even close. Me, I was trying to time it for this thing, but I'm off. I keep getting the worst weapon to try to shoot down this bot. I'm good. Don't want to. I was all the way back in the hallway that connect the two buildings. Someone's this way, so check this first. Yeah, it's on the wall. Yeah, so I was looking for somebody though, but they already got off. So yeah, it was like right here.
Let's hunt over here.
It was in the midst of those boxes. Yeah.
We're too spread out. Join me.
Yeah, sorry if I got you too happy. Oh, I did. I didn't realize it was 0. Thanks. Because there's a team right here. Ducking. I'm in crouch mode. They were just right here. Oh, he is here. Still right here.
Someone's out there.
I hit him bad. Knocked. He's knocked. I'm putting my special right here. I'm running. Healing. I only saw one guy right here. I'm watching. Just get out of here. I'm rezzing. Yeah, on the hill. Just stay close to each other. Whatever you do. They might come up this back left right here. If they do, they're gonna get... Oh, he's right here. How did that not hurt him? Oh no!
Recharging shield. Reload. That one's down.
Yeah, I got one down. He's almost dead, dude. He's almost dead. Why are you all the way over there? You should have stayed in the hallway. I did see something. Let's land hot. Trios.
They're waiting for us. Introducing your champion.
Every day is a new victory. Let's land here. Hold your breath.
Watch, no one goes here. I said no one goes here. I literally don't even see anybody. Only one person. Oh my gosh. Only one group literally on this side of the map. Every other person, look, around us has went to the Dude, what is going on? I'm about to turn around and run. What is going on though? Like, I don't know if these are really low ranked players or what. They're just not. Just not. That's my favorite weapon, so. Can't believe they nerfed that. Why would they nerf it though? It's not that good. Like, it's.
They're coming to us.
I don't know, though. I just didn't think it was that good to like make it worse again. Now it's just gonna be totally unusable.
I shot down a cargo bus.
Attention. First blood.
Smell that.
There you go.
Friends, I've got a bomb.
Might as well just push right towards the harvester because nobody's on this side of the map. So,
Backpack here. Level 1.
or sure there's someone there. Train yard, so.
Hustle right here.
Yep, that's where they landed, actually. So, I'm here. She's purple. Almost dead purple, like really low. Yep. Dude, solo, you got her. Nice, thank you.
Enemy down.
Two down, two down. That's two down. You're good. There's only one left.
Need to recharge my shield.
Don't worry, I'm here.
Just gonna have to rush, or I'm gonna thirst this wraith.
Brought me back. Reloading. Kill the skin suit.
If he just wasn't ready for me or what, but
Reloading.
Killed an enemy.
I think another team might be pushing in. I heard someone outside. See somebody? Somebody is there. I know I heard somebody for sure. We're up top though, dude, so you're down there alone. What? He's right here. I only see one. I only see one. Crypto, I think. Right here. Right here. He's white.
Reloading.
Nice.
Killed the last.
Did he fall into the thing? What was this guy doing? Random? Just running around having fun. Ah, yes, a wingman. They've reduced the wingmans and the R99s. Oh, I got a nice one. I got the red one with the big grenade on it. Can you see charms on weapons? You see my grenade? Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's like got the, it looks like a ball with the gold and red on it.
Care package being delivered.
Care
I
package.
think my favorite ornament is the big grenade. It's salty. I like it. Oh, that was weird. The thing with Revenant, you can't really actually wall jump because he climbs walls. You know, dude, the best is Wraith. Every other character is not as cool as her. She's just too cool, dude. You can literally do everything. In tunnel? Sure. What are they doing? You see them?
Setting a portal.
I don't see anybody. You got my special. Let's use it too. I think you're good, dude.
Hostile right here. Thermite grenade out.
Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out.
Gonna shut you.
He's almost dead. I'm almost dead too. Like, literally. Be careful, dude. Once he breaks your shield, you're dead. Just pull back, pull back. That P2020, dude, once he breaks your shield, you're dead.
Enemy taken down. I am taking fire.
Broke two of them. I'm telling y'all about my special, man. I just don't want to use it. Okay, I mean... Cannot use in-death protection. Oh, okay. Tried to... Well, I tried to use my shield, I forgot. I can't use it.
Ultimate accelerant here.
Oh. No. Hey, my accelerant. There's everybody's this way, so. Oh.
Patching myself up.
Yeah, I'm just looking on the hill first. Doing my Mighty Joe Young. Oh. Right here.
I got a feeling about that spot. Keeping
Like down? Not sure.
We should all get in the next ring.
New kill leader.
So,
For them.
rezzing in here? Flesh. Knocked. He was literally 12 health. He was 12 health. I feel bad. You just got out of an epic battle, dude, and what do we do? Oh. You good? He's ripped. He's popped.
Throwing Arc Star.
You got the other one? Dude, Revenant is so good.
Recharging shields.
Rings close. Still have a minute. Want to make a massacre? Recharging shields.
Healing up. Eyes are open though.
Up here?
Let's hunt over here.
Yeah. Whee! Going right here. They're fighting, they're fighting. Yeah, you'd be invincible though. Kraber does mad damage when you hit him in the head. Yeah, yeah, it's I got 330. Right here. He's almost dead.
Gonna shut you up.
I'm gonna put my ultimate right here. They're popped. I got it. I'm back. He's popped. They're popped. They're both popped. He's down. He's down. One more.
Need to recharge my shield.
He's below. Just finish him, Revenant. 30. Nice.
Last member down. Repairing. Catching myself up.
Here I go.
Using a med kit.
Lucky us, we are already inside the ring.
They spotted me. I'm taking
Up here.
opening for shield.
Oh, dang it.
Contact with
How many? Just one? Alright, are you pushing?
Enemy down. Recharging shield.
I don't see the other one. I'm hitting him. He's almost dead. Oh no, that PK, brother. That's my weapon. Sorry for you. It's hard. It's hard though. You gotta time it. It's all about the timing, especially when you're facing like a raid. She was in mid, or she charged that shield bat. I think she had gold, but she jumped down at me and I just. She didn't expect that. She said, "Oh, I got him." You know, on your Wraith one-on-one, that's how you think. But I hit her, see, with my ultimate, so she couldn't run. Dude, that's so good. Or not his regular thing. And you have two of them, so you could. He's really good, dude. Yeah, I like him a lot. It's kind of like a Overwatch character now. So like hit him with my ability and then I. That is a game you'd have to have a team. Because every element of it is literally, it's like this game on a different level of teamwork. because one guy has to like suppress the shield, the next guy has to carry the thing, the next guy has to do the attacks, the next guy is healing everybody. It just, yeah, it literally is all team, and that's the only way you can win. Yeah, it's cool though. You remember, or did you ever play with Maverick GT? Yeah. Well, anyways, he was he was like top 500 in the world at one time, and he was really good though, and that's where he went back though. I think we're the champ like a couple games today. I don't know where everybody is. Yes! Yes! I love Kings Canyon! Woo! See, look at that. 30 people drop right away. That's Kings Canyon. We're late though. We can go right here. And then push into market. There's a lot of stuff here. See this? This is destroyed Kings Canyon. Yeah, Mozambique, of course, when you got a nice skin. There you go. Happy now, aren't you? Loving that wingman lately. Ooh. You want that? Oh, my triple take? Dude, look at this, yo! You do the same thing. Yeah, you do the same thing. I didn't have an armor. Where are y'all? There's no armor, so I need someone by me. Oh, that boy played him. Give me that back. It's mine. It's mine. Frizzle. My mama gave me that. My mama made me that peanut butter jelly. How to eat it again. See if I don't come in there like an orangutan. Yeah. Call me Orangutan Jim. Dude, we should have went. Oh, there's my purple. Thanks. We need to just turn around, dude, or go Skull Town. Actually, we're good. I mean, we're purple. I got purple everything. Oh, is that right here? I'm gonna fly in there. You need cell. Yeah, I got 2 cells, 1 med. No. I know I heard somebody. Yeah, someone's here for sure. Already, right? This map, we just need to land with everybody. Oh, he's right here. Yahoo! Yeah, I'm coming down. He's good, he's good. He's got the wingman. He is good. It's really good, dude. Like, literally. Almost dead. Dude, these guys are very good. He's flesh and he's still challenging. He's cocky. I got no heals. Are you gonna get him? Oh, okay. I was just making sure. I got. He's down there now. He can't run. Like, he can't link away. Yeah, you're good, you're good. I got you. Just res him. I'm watching it. I'm gonna throw my thing on it again. Dude, Revenant is so good. Yeah, I'm watching you. I'm on the bone up here. Just get out of there, get out of there. I'm sorry, that was funny from my point of view. You just literally fell off. Dude, I'm no way. I'm gonna get lit. This guy's right here. No, they're right here. They're down here. Yeah, no. Dude, these guys are so good. Dude, they're good. These guys are predators. I can guarantee you. The Pathfinder, same guy. I don't know, but these guys are for sure very high ranked players. There. They're very high ranked players. I had no heals, so I can't see them. Yeah. Oh, they're good, dude. It's gonna definitely rush you. They're not scared. Yeah, they're going to rush you. Just target them together. In the back behind y'all. Just stay together. There he is. Nice, nice. Good job. Other one's on him. Nice, he popped her. Oh, the lifeline, that's the last one. Yep. Yeah. Guys. Yeah, you almost got him. Oh, he's dead now. Third team rushes in, of course. After we do all that damage. If I would have had heals, it would have been different, but I'm sitting up on top of that bone with one little shield. No, there was 3. Oh, there's a lifeline, a Bangalore, and a Pathfinder. That's why I couldn't res you, and I didn't want to get down from there. But he hit me in the face for 94. That's why the wingman, dude, it's just so good. Love that thing. You just think you're okay, and then all of a sudden you're hit once and you're done. That's what it does, dude. It's not like an, you know, R99 can surprise you, but that weapon surprises you. Yeah, all of the CSGO players would quit playing. Yeah, literally everybody who's very good with it is past CSGO player or PUBG. Like, Shroud, all those people, like, very high ranked players. The key to the weapon is literally just to aim, though, right? And just shoot. It's different. You don't have to follow the strafe. You just keep shooting. You just keep shooting. And it's going to land. Because if it lands even 1 out of 3 bullets, that can be all 47 to 90. Yeah, to 90 plus. Exactly. If you hit 2 shots, you can knock somebody in the head. Let's just jump as soon as we can, dude. Whether it's here or here. Because everybody's dropping. I just want to get in the action. Yeah, there's one right here. That's one team. And then, oh my gosh, I don't see anybody. Oh, yep. They're going in front of us, so that's good. We can push into them. Sweet, sweet, sweet.
Gotta hop up here.
Sweet. Yellow dot.
Attention. First blood on round 1. Beginning ring countdown.
You close it in my face. Disrespect. That was for earlier, probably. I don't know if anyone landed up here. I didn't see anybody. Oh, yep. Someone's up here. You didn't land down here, did you, right? Oh, you did, okay. Oh, never mind. What do you got? Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Extended light mag here. Level 3.
I'm coming. Right behind you. A blue light mag.
Extended light mag.
Take it.
Level 2.
It's mine. Don't touch it.
We're right behind you. It's faster.
Heads up. New kill leader.
Alright, we're 10 seconds out. Roger. Oh, they're calling in too. Or someone just did on the hill. On the cage. Okay, we're here. They're flying out. Someone is. Alright, someone's flying out right here. Look. Is he flying down? Oh! I hit him right in his face. Shields popped. Knocked him. That guy's almost dead too. Just right here, I'll bait him in.
Giving my
Okay, good. You get. I got him. I got your backs. Oh, that was the same guys. Apex Loot Legend. We got him back. Let's go. Run.
Get in the ring, or I'll kill you.
Where? Alright, I got my special, so.
Heads up. The ring's moving.
They're throwing like stuff. Oh, they're still down there. They must be fighting somebody. Yeah, I was gonna say they're fighting down there. They're not just down there, they're down there. Almost dead. Almost dead. The Wraith. She's coming right there. What? No. Oh, Ruby Poe got me. It was fun. I want to go again. I like it. actually. Where's everybody? These guys are right below us, but they're going to the other side. I don't know. We went off the map? There's a guy there. Alright. Right there. I'm going to just help him. You got her?
Next ring's far. First blood. Should've seen
Where's his friends? Knocked. 50 on him. He's up top. Whoa. I got no heals. Go on. More people. I'm trying, I can't. I swapped the body shield, he instantly blew me away. Right here. They're really good. 400 season 4 wins. Yeah, they're definitely birders. Non-kinetics FX N95 auxiliary. My hell. That was good. I got a few more games. Start turning off some stuff here. Shut down the stream. Alright guys, thanks for coming out. All those who stuck around. Peace.